Hannah, I actually really enjoyed this speech. I think you were totally shocked when quite a few people in the class had used chopsticks. I know I myself use them as much as I can. I probably would use them more. We don't have any chopsticks at home, but you gave me the idea of going and buying some for the house. But anytime we go somewhere to eat that has chopsticks, we always request chopsticks. And your surprise to the reaction of how many people had used it kind of gives me a reason why now when we ask for chopsticks, and my wife and I always ask for them, why we get the puzzled looks we get, because I guess they don't think we look like we would use chopsticks, but I actually would prefer to use them. And now that I know you can buy them somewhere, I'll probably buy me a set for the house. Nice speech overall. Big problem with it at first. The speech was supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes, and this was the longest speech of the class, 3 minutes and 41 seconds. So it went almost double over what the maximum time of the speech was. And part of the art of putting together a speech is learning how to get it within the time frame that you have allotted for you. So want to work on that. Now, what I did notice, and I'm making allowance for it, honestly, there was a lot of filler words, but it was not filler words as in filling in space like a lot of people do it. And it made me wonder, and this is something, if I'm wrong, please tell me that I'm wrong. But with international students, I noticed that a lot of times there's the translation problem involved because their normal home language, like in your case, Vietnamese, you're probably thinking in Vietnamese most of the time, and then you've got to convert it to English, and you've got to do it on the fly when you're in a speech. And that filler word is the translation. It's sort of a signal that there's a translation going on. If that's it, then I'm not taking as much off. I don't take as much off because I cannot imagine, and I one time made a class almost do this. I had a student who was, I think they were from Taiwan, if I remember correctly, and they had not been in the U.S. long, and they gave their first speech, and people in the class laughed, and I said, okay, the next speech, everyone in here is doing it in her native language, and they all looked at me in great horror, and I said, now you understand what it's like for her every time she gives a speech. And so I make allowance usually when English is a second language, and there's several international students in this class that I'm aware of that for. But let me know if that's not it. But there was a lot of filler words being used. I just thought it was you making translations in your head. And to some degree, people will use that as a delivery technique. If you go back and look at American actors, Jimmy Stewart was an American actor. And he would do that thing with the filler words, except he would almost stammer a little bit. And it was an intentional thing for his delivery style. So if it's any of that, let me know. But there was a lot of filler words. Great introduction into your speech. Nice storytelling. It was visual. I was picturing using the chopsticks to cook and then to eat using the same ones, because I would do that same thing. I wouldn't have multiple sets of chopsticks for that. I would just use one. And good use of eyes for the most part. You did look more to the center than left and right, but you did include, everyone in the audience when you were doing it, which is really good. And really good job planting your feet, looking confident. You had a good, strong stance, probably the strongest stance of anyone in the class when they got up to give a speech, because a lot of people were shifting and moving. You planted your feet and looked like, I'm here to give a speech. And that stood out. And that was really nice. So anyway, that's what I've got so far. But I really did enjoy the speech, and now I got to go buy chopsticks.